Gail Craft from the Empowering Process podcast. And today we have with us Beatrix Fekete. Beatrix is a professional who works with men to help them dominate their careers and their relationships and health and their health without sacrificing their time or income. So it's all about being present, being an amazing father, being an amazing husband, and just loving life. So let's talk to Beatrice and find out how she got into this and what this is all about. Welcome, Beatrice. So here we are with Beatrix, and she works with men. I think that is amazing. So tell me, first of all, hello.
Hello. Hi,
Hello.
Gail. Hello.
Tell me a little bit about what you mean when you say that you learn to trust yourself and trust the universe, and that this is really what you bring to your clients.
hmm
So, what does that
Yes.
look like? Like, what does mistrust versus trust for you look like?
Well, for me, it started kind of very early on that I had to lean into myself because the environment wasn't too safe. And then what I've just realized is there's something, there's always it's a feeling, it's an intuition that says it's going to be okay. That's how it started. And it went into trust in terms of knowing myself. So when I know myself, when I accept myself, I can trust myself. And what that means to me is living life, or as much as possible, without the outdated old narratives. That kind of, yes, that kind of, I think that they bury us into or suppress us. And that's why we can't really trust ourselves oftentimes.
You know, I would say my experience going through that process was um, to stop lying to myself first, to stop
Mm-hmm.
saying this is okay when it was not okay,
Mm-hmm.
right? To stop saying, well, this is normal when it for me was not normal,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes,
Because I could not trust myself if I continued to lie to myself, right?
makes sense.
Right.
Yes.
And so the first step of getting to know who I really am is
Mm-hmm.
to first stop covering it up with those lies,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
then you start seeing when you said the narrative and the stories, that is when I was then empowered to take a look at a narrative and say, is this true for me? And what
Mm-hmm.
if it wasn't? What would that mean? What would it look like?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So,
Mm-hmm.
what did you go through on your journey of uncovering who you are and um, exposing the narratives?
Oh, a lot, a lot. It's been a really interesting, eye-opening journey. It feels like I'm living two different lives in one lifetime because I definitely see the difference between how I showed up years ago from those narratives, what decisions I made, and right now. And another thing that popped into my mind that was very helpful to me is learning emotional regulation, learning how to direct my mind, learning how to cooperate with the universe, learning uh, nervous system regulation. That meant I can absolutely trust myself that I am capable of doing this. And this means that no matter what the universe brings to me, I trust myself that I am capable to deal with that situation because I know how to use my mind to my advantage. I know how to regulate myself. I know how to be patient. I know how to be present. All these little skills, I call them skills. So they empower me. They help me to trust myself. And I think that's a very important thing. We trust ourselves first so that we can trust others. Um,
Yes. How can I trust you? Oh, I'm getting an echo. How can I trust you if I can't trust me?
mhm,
It's right. It's like, how can I love you if I
mhm,
don't love me? Right.
mhm,
All of this started to unravel and make so much sense to me when I started this process. Um,
mhm.
you said cooperate with the universe. Tell me more.
What I meant is kind of I see it well, I'm not saying that I know a lot, but I've been very much into this learning curve, learning about all these things, self-development, whatever we call it. And I've just realized that this cooperating with the universe is kind of fun.
Oh, it's a game.
It's yes. You said game?
It's a game.
Yes. And how can I make it work? And what exactly the specific thing that works for me? Because it's happening all the time, right? So what is the direction that I am giving? Um, what are those specificities? What are these things? What are the frequency? What is the energy behind it? What is the how does this really work?
It's
Um,
interesting that you said frequency. Okay, so I'm going to pick on these words that you throw out there because a lot of people are going to define them differently, right? And
mm,
we want to be sure that we understand what you mean when you say that word. When I think of frequency, um, I think of the fact that we are energy, and
mm,
I am not saying words. I am creating frequencies. I am creating sounds that create a vibration. And your brain is saying, this means this, this means this, this means this. So your brain is interpreting the frequency of the noise that I'm making from my mouth and my vocal cords, right? Um,
mhm.
so frequencies can be interpreted. And so when you talk about frequencies, what
Yes.
specifically are you referring to here?
What you just said, what you just said, to to be in the to be in the frequency that attracts what I desire. To level up with that.
So it's a
Um,
feeling or an emotion.
to me, yes, feeling an
Okay.
emotion that creates that energy in me.
Mhm.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
So for some people, it could be a sound, it could be a vision, and
Mm,
for me, it's also a feeling that I get. I say it's got to feel delicious.
mm,
Right, right.
I
If
love
it,
that.
yes, if it feels delicious, then I definitely want to do it, right?
Yes, yes.
And so that's the frequency. That word gives me that feeling of where I want to be,
Mm,
right? Yes, yum,
mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm.
And so
Yeah.
when I want to make a shift in my life, what's the frequency I want to experience? Not the thing I want to be doing. So this is what I mean when I say being versus doing,
Mm-hmm,
right? And
mm-hmm,
so you're talking about the frequency in cooperation with the universe.
mm-hmm.
What does that feel like?
Yes, that's what I hmm, That's an interesting thing that you've said, being or cooperation with the universe. Um, hmm, is that because when we are being, are we also cooperating? I
Yes,
I think we are.
yes.
And yes, yeah. To me, it feels like kind of a clean energy. It feels clean. It feels clear. It feels light in my body.
In your body. And for me, I feel it like in my throat chakra, if you will, almost like a breeze coming through.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Right.
right.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it's being home,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's
Yes.
being where we all, I believe, initially come from,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
So you have this
Yes.
ability now because of personal development. And folks, if you are seriously on a personal development quest, if you are seriously looking to level up, it is impossible for you to do that and not get to this place. If you're not at this place, then you're not doing personal development. You're finding a bunch of tools that you can check off, and you're not being, right?
That's
Right?
powerful.
Right?
Yes.
It
Yes.
and it's okay. I just
Mm-hmm.
don't lie to yourself.
Mm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
okay wherever anyone is. Just be
Mm-hmm.
honest with yourself and that's okay. That's
Mm-hmm.
quite okay. So, so
Mm-hmm.
you finally
Amazing.
found out how to find the truth in you.
Yes and no. Can I say I'm on the journey? Or there's always something new that comes up. There's always something, and I'm open and I'm excited about it, no matter how it feels sometimes. It can be an up and down, but I'm definitely at a better place where I was, let's say, 5 years ago.
Right.
It's a different being, that is for sure.
Yeah.
That I'm experiencing every day. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. And so this revelation, let's call it,
Hmm.
on a process that you're engaged in. You've
Hmm.
taken this to create a business of helping men. So first of all, why men? Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Hmm. I have a history with men, and they are closest to my heart to work with.
Okay.
Yes. So the reason I work with men is because of my history, because what I experienced as a daughter and as an ex-wife. And I simply show men that this work is not about gender, but when they step into, let's say, the next level version of themselves without the narratives, without all the stuff that could be weighing them down, how much impact they can make on their women in their lives, including their spouse, their daughters, um, and sons as well. So that's the reason why I work with men.
I think that's fantastic. Awesome. Right. And so tell me a little bit about what that looks like. As if someone was to work with you,
Mm,
um, what is it that they're looking for with that co-creation?
mm-hmm.
And sometimes what you're looking for is not really what you get. And what is it that they walk away with?
Yes, that's very true. That's very true. Yes, yes, yes. So we start with a lot of mind chatter. So that is causing these buzzwords of or labels of anxiety, addictions, or stress, depression, and all the ripple effect of that on their relationships with their spouse, on their sex life, on their relationship with children. And I believe in foundations because when the foundations are wobbling, then the house will be wobbly as well. So we go back to the foundation of where all this comes from. Where does one behavior originate from? I believed in the sequence of thoughts, beliefs, and then feelings, emotions, and then actions, and then behavior, and then identity as a foundation of how we show up in our lives. So when we work together, then we understand how each person's mind has been set. I think it's unique to everyone. Those are those narratives, the stories, the identities that we hold on to, the emotional habits we hold on to. And that accumulates into I always bring stress to the dinner table and I don't know how to deal with that, how to deal with that. And I always snap at my kids and I'm just exactly the same as my dad was to me with my son and I. This is what I wanted, but I'm doing it. What do I do? How do I change that? So we go back to identity, emotional habits or states, and daily habits as well, and emotional regulation. To me, these were the tools that I used in my life as well. And I just simply would like to show man that it is possible that maybe they think it's a very complicated issue that they have, but actually we can simplify it with with smaller shifts and being more maybe strategic with it.
And I like the smaller shifts. Okay, I'm getting feedback again. It's really weird. Um, and I like that because people, my experience, come to me and expecting massive change.
Mhm.
And that's not sustainable. It's not realistic
Right.
and doesn't happen. I look for, like you said, the small increments because
Hmm.
it just takes a little shift on the scale to make the scale go from here to there. It's
Yes.
just a little shift. You don't have
Yes.
to leap up there. You just take a little shift and you will get there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you learn that this is the trajectory that you want to be on,
Hmm.
right? Um, and so you
Yes.
talk about emotional regulation, and I want to get into that a little bit because I want to be sure that the listeners don't hear emotional control because
Mm-hmm.
control is resistance.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime that you resist, and quite frankly, there's a lot of things that bury those emotions, but
Mm-hmm.
control is absolutely not honoring your emotion. Emotional intelligence does not mean you don't cry. Emotional intelligence means you cry your heart out.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, I agree with that. Yes,
Yep.
yes. Yeah, I think it's welcoming emotions,
Mhm.
understanding them, and processing them, and at the right appropriately.
Mhm.
That's what I call emotional regulation. Um, as you say, resistance or running away from them is absolutely not the solution. And I think if we saw emotions from a different way, especially men, as they are, I call them sometimes messengers or feedback, or absolutely just part of being a human being, who men are as well, right? Then we would welcome them maybe more often, or more with a more compassion, and really just process them and understand them. I very much believe in, when there's an emotion, take your time and deal with, attend that emotion as much as possible, right there, right now. Attend it, because it's there for a reason. It's showing you something. And when we
Right.
attend emotions, they tend to flow through us within a, they might come back, but it's possible to let them so release from our bodies.
Yeah.
Trapped emotions are the worst things. Resistance and keeping our emotions, that energy inside of the body, I think is the worst thing we can do to our body, to our physical health, to our longevity. That energy has to be released properly.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I believe about emotions. And when I understood, or when I opened up to my emotions, when I opened up to myself and to this journey, life became so colorful, because I allowed myself to feel emotions. And it is okay to cry, it is okay to rage, it is okay to have anger, it is okay. All is okay. And the question I asked myself, how often do I feel these? How much they impact me? And how are they impacting anyone else around me?
And
And
I ask, what are you trying to tell me right now?
yes, exactly.
Right?
Yes.
I'm
Yes, absolutely.
feeling this emotion
Mm-hmm.
because something's not cool,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And whether it's anger, sadness, fear, shame, guilt, any of that stuff, it's because something is not cool right now. And is that an expectation I have?
Mm-hmm.
Or is that something that I'm projecting onto someone else?
Mm-hmm.
Right? What is it? What role am I playing
Mm-hmm.
in this? So this is to me the most important, owning the situation, right?
100%.
Right. And so, and a lot of people will, well, I'm triggered, they know the blah, 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 blah. If you have an expectation that is for you valid, and you have shared that with someone and said, listen, you go left, I really need you to go right. Going left is a problem for me. And they continue going left. If you stay in that situation, then the problem's yours. Not
Yes.
not that they won't change. The problem's yours,
Yes. Yes.
right?
That's true.
And so
Yeah.
what can you do to extricate, I'm sorry, but get out of the situation,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
However, if going left is important to you and you get triggered by someone who keeps going right and you don't say anything,
Mm-hmm.
the problem is even more yours.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how you build up resentment and you start running stories. And if you're running a story
Yeah.
in your head, you're probably replaying an unexpressed expectation,
Yes. Yes. Very well explained. Yes, Gail. Yeah,
yeah,
that's exactly what
right?
it is. Yeah.
And so
Yes.
you work with people to help them identify
Mm-hmm.
that this is what's going on. So,
Mm-hmm.
how did your life change and, in a very a way that people can relate to it once you started making these micro changes, but
Mm-hmm.
eventually they become macro changes, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
In your life, how did things start to shift? And when did you turn around and say, wow, I didn't even realize this was happening?
Yes. Well, first of all, I had addictions, 20-year plus addictions, substance addictions. And I never thought I could live my life without them. And in 6 months, I just turned it around and I can't even look at them today. So it's like they really, really disgust me. Um, Anxiety, I had extreme, massive anxiety. I couldn't shake hands. I was sweating. I couldn't hold the handrail on the tube. Every day I was very much in a tense mode, digestion issues, all these things. And whoa, I can be calm. I can be at peace. How is that even possible? Like when you feel like your nervous system is at peace, that's really, really amazing because then you're more focused. Um, these things. What else? I had also like suicidal thoughts, I must be honest, since the age of 11. And for me, the biggest shift was when my teacher, my therapy teacher, I learned from her that you belong, everyone belongs here. It's not a mistake. And I always felt that I don't belong here. I don't deserve anything. And that's why I had suicidal thoughts. And when I started to embrace that thought that I matter or I belong, it shifted around. I started to be able to look in the mirror. I always hated myself. I started to take care of myself. Food, the people who I interact with. I attracted a beautiful man into my life who I never had before. Um, and when he transitioned to his next journey, actually, that was my wake up call that said, okay, Beatrix, you're on the right path. Keep going. And this man has helped you to push you to be a better version of you. So keep going. And now that you can show men that is possible as well. I lost weight. That was as well something. Never lost weight in my life. 30 plus years. Um, I started to say no to my boss. I got a promotion as well. Um, I became more assertive in life in general, at work as well with myself, disciplined, committed to exercise as well that I've never done before.
And I would say
Yeah.
assertive. How about being your own advocate? Because a lot of people hear the word assertive and they think force, and it's
Oh,
not. Assertiveness is just being an advocate for yourself,
mm-hmm.
right? It's like you
Right.
do matter. What
Mm-hmm.
your needs are do matter,
Mm-hmm.
and you have a right to express them and
Mm-hmm.
receive them.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that, Gail. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Thank you for that. Yeah, I love
You're
it.
welcome.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Yeah, the
Yes.
language has a frequency and has a vibration,
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
right?
Yes. Yeah.
And so sometimes, and I try to be better and better and better at choosing the words that
Mm-hmm.
have the frequency, because we were talking about frequency earlier, frequency that
Yeah.
you will feel that matters. How it's
Mm-hmm.
interpreted in your brain
Mm-hmm.
also is how you attach an emotion or feeling to it, and you don't even realize it,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah,
right?
it's true. It's
Right.
true.
So you
Yeah.
hear, well, I've learned to be assertive, but someone will go, oh, I could never do that,
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true.
right?
Yeah, it's interesting because to me it means more confident,
Yeah.
more trusting myself, more assertive in terms of embracing who I am and embracing life and opportunities.
But the word advocate says the same thing
Exactly, and sounds a
without
lot
that.
better.
Yes, without
Yeah,
that,
without that. Yeah, exactly.
right?
That's true. That's
Has
true.
a
Yeah.
different frequency. And this is why it's so
Mm,
important in a conversation to
hmm.
say, let me explain to you what I mean when I say that,
Yes.
because you don't
Yes.
know how someone else has just interpreted what you
Yes.
said, right?
Yes.
And
Exactly.
that's very important for the work that you do with the men, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're learning to communicate with themselves differently,
Mm-hmm.
which
Mm-hmm.
therefore translates to organically communicating differently with other people,
Mm.
right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, yeah. That's very true. That's very true. Words are powerful.
Yes,
Yes, yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes. And they
yeah.
last forever.
Yes.
They do not go away, right?
Yes, that's
Right?
true.
So the old saying,
Mm-hmm.
sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never harm me, is also a lie.
Yes, exactly. Yes, that's very, very true. Yes,
Right?
that's true. Yeah, yes, yeah,
Right?
yes. Words are powerful.
Right. And so what
Yes.
these gentlemen, so what are some of the things that they walk away with um, that can be concrete to someone? So if I were someone who came to you and said, my marriage is falling apart, my kids hate me, can't stand my job, and I pretty much think. So before I slit my throat, I'm here. How can you help me? What's something small that I might be able to walk away with?
Peace of mind, feeling calm and clarity on who that man who comes to me can be, or can how can you show up. What I see a lot is that men are stuck with the old narratives, with old identities, and they never questioned it. So when we have a session, when we go through these things, then we open up new possibilities of how they can show up, how they can think about themselves, what they can believe, what new stories they can embrace. And when we first talked, you mentioned something, the permission, giving permission to ourselves to to show up differently, to heal, to whatever the verb is. So the number one thing I like to see on them is that they give permission to themselves that it is okay to leave behind what's not no longer working and embrace something new.
Yeah,
Yeah.
permissions are really powerful. Um, I wrote down identity crisis. Um,
Identity. Uh-huh.
identity crisis. And
Yeah.
I can remember, I would say maybe the 80s is when men were apparently confused about their role by then. Women were
Mm-hmm.
working, women were getting in positions of power, um, and men were losing jobs to women, and were becoming resentful and didn't know who they were anymore because they identified with something external. They identified with the job. They
Mm-hmm.
identified with the doing, not
Mm-hmm.
with the being,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And honestly, a lot of women did the same thing. So it's not a man thing. It is a human thing.
Yes.
There were women who identified with being a housewife and felt guilty that they weren't working. So the identity crisis was massive in the 80s and
Mm-hmm.
90s, and maybe even the early 200s. And then some of that still lingers, right? Still
Mm-hmm.
lingers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people are
Yeah.
looking now for, well, who am I if
Yes.
if I am not the CEO of an organization? Who am I if I am not the nurturer of my family? Who am I if I am not the caretaker? Who am I if I am not? And so it's really important to know who you really are.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
So, Beatrix, if you were to explain who you are today, because that changes, I don't know about you, but changes constantly for me. Um,
Mm-hmm.
who are you um, without the trappings of the stories?
Infinite possibilities.
Yes, that
Um,
confuses me. I can't bring that to the third dimension.
yes. Um, I'd like to identify myself. Ooh, this is interesting, girl, because I don't like labels.
Either. Yep.
And what I identify with is sometimes I'd say, what's the role that I'm playing? What's the role that is needed from me? What's the role I'm stepping into? And today I feel like I'm calm water. That's how I would say. That's what I would say. Um, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
yes, go on. Sorry.
infinite possibilities is correct, but it's very difficult for someone who has not yet gone as far in personal development and self-exploring to understand what that means to them. I mean, it's coachable, it's words, it has no substance to them,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm,
And so I
yeah.
like to think of me as being um, able to tap into whatever it is that I need to tap into in the moment based on what's happening in the moment. And I can co-create and shift
Mm-hmm.
what's happening by shifting my perspective and the story I'm telling myself,
Yes.
right?
Uh-huh.
I'm
Absolutely.
the
Yes.
alchemist,
Yes, the outcome. Mm-hmm.
okay?
Yes.
If you haven't read the
Mm-hmm.
book, read the book, right?
Yes, it's a really great book. Yes, yeah,
Yep,
yes, yeah,
yep.
yeah.
And it
Um,
is transformation. Um,
mm-hmm,
in in the story is told in such a way, this young man is open to being in the moment, in the situation he's in, even though he has a dream.
mm-hmm,
He can't make it to that dream today. So he makes the best of where he is in the moment.
mm-hmm,
And that
mm-hmm,
propels him to the next moment and to the
mm-hmm,
next moment until he becomes the alchemist and didn't even realize it,
mm-hmm,
right? Which we all are, by the way. We are creators, and we
mm-hmm,
take nothing and make it something with our thought pattern,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
right? We perceive
Yeah,
something being a
exactly.
problem because it's not what we want. So it's the little temper tantrum child in us,
Mm,
right? Um, and it's there, guys, it's
yes,
there, you know, own it. Don't don't turn your back and say, "Yeah, I'm having a little temper tantrum right now. I'll be okay in a minute."
yeah,
Right? Right?
yes, exactly. Yeah,
Right? And
yeah,
the ability to change is that quickly, right? So who are we?
flows.
All of us are these infinite beings full of
Mm,
potential and possibilities, no matter what the situation is that you're in, because you
mm-hmm,
can shift your
mm-hmm,
perception and the story that you're telling yourself about the situation. Now, the
mm-hmm,
situation may not change,
mm,
right? But how you show up
mm.
always can change,
Exactly.
right?
Absolutely. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So
100%.
I may still be in a crappy job that I don't like, but if I shift my perspective and
Mm-hmm.
see, all right, my boss is a raving maniac. How angry is this person?
Mm-hmm.
They're full of fear. That's why they're angry. And
Mm-hmm.
then I see the fear in this person. I see the vulnerability in this person. I am seeing something totally different.
Mm-hmm.
So now I show up totally different. And I may still
Yes.
not like the job. This person is not going to change. But
Yeah.
I don't show up all tense and angry. I show up with compassion for this person who is so vulnerable they don't even know.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right?
Yes. Yes. That's true.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I'm open to possibilities because I don't have that resistance. I'm now open. And guess what? A new job can come A new
Yes,
opportunity
exactly.
come, and
Exactly.
and I'm open to it. And they don't see this person that's angry. They don't want to hire someone like that. They
No.
see someone
Yeah.
who is open and
Yeah.
sees the potential and sees the real issue, not the
Mm.
story about the issue.
Exactly. Exactly. Can I
Yeah.
quickly tell you, for the listeners, a story that proves this?
Yes, yes, yes,
Because
yes.
I had exactly the same thing with my boss. We were always eye to eye. I never really liked him. He was very rude and humiliating, and we didn't have a good communication. It was very, very tough to work with that boss. And it was during the 2020 events when we were a little bit away from the job, and that's when I stepped into this field as well, learning about these things. And I just said to myself, okay, I'm going to go back as a different version of me. What do I do about it? I have to understand what this person is triggering in me. What are all the things that he's giving me that actually I can't deal with, because he's not going to change. I have to change. So I got to understand. I digged a little bit deeper. It all went back to my dad. Um, I understood my triggers. Now, then I got to understand how to regulate myself, and I went back a completely new version of me. This person didn't change, but I saw him differently, and I understood him from a perspective of, I get where you're coming from. You're not doing this to me on purpose. I was just interpreting this through the lenses of my 5-year-old version. And started we created a relationship that I never thought we would have. We started to communicate better. We were working on a project together. They gave me a project as well that I never thought I would have. um, we were working close together, and I said, wow. And actually he is still doing the same things, but thank God I see it differently, and how amazing it is, because I go through my day without stress, without those resentment, with that tense feeling. It makes a lot more, it makes a huge difference. I can focus better. I can be more flexible at work, or meet deadlines, all these things that were the requirements. Just
And you can play
because,
with the possibilities,
yes,
right? Make it a
exactly.
game. Make it
Make
a
it a
game.
game.
Get up in the
Yeah,
morning and say, what would happen if I got up today in a really great mood? What would happen
yes,
if I got up today and just laughed at everything? Right?
yeah,
People
yes,
do these experiments. I'm going to
yes,
go this whole week and just say yes to this is yes week. And they say yes to everything. And amazing things happen,
yes,
right?
exactly, yes,
So just
yeah.
experiment.
Oh, I love it. That's exactly what I tell everyone. Experiment, and that comes from my 3 line in human design. Just experiment. How can you show up differently, or what ways you can show up? What different decisions you can make, or choices, and enjoy this experimentation, because it brings so much more. And it leads back to self-trust, I think, as
Yeah.
well.
Yes, because you have to be brave enough and trust yourself enough. So bravery has a lot to do with trusting yourself because you know that things could go wrong, but you believe that you can handle it,
Exactly.
right? Right, that you
Yes.
have the tools available, and you have the tools, the resources, the smarts, the whatever. I say the universe has my back. Why? Because the universe is me. So of course it
Yes.
has my back. Why
Yes.
wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yes. Yeah. I
Yep.
love that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I love those questions you've just mentioned. What would happen today if I just said yes to everything, or this week, or
Yeah.
yeah, it's amazing.
Right. And for anyone who journals, I personally don't, but I do a lot of writing. Um, but a lot of people journal. And if you journal, then do
Hmm.
that experiment. You can say, today I'm experimenting with, and then at night, this is what happened. Isn't that crazy? And
Mm.
then the next day, try it again and, just kind of log what's going on, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Um,
Yeah. Why did you
Definitely.
journal?
I write a lot. So,
Okay.
like I'm in the middle of writing yet another book, and that would make my
Oh yeah.
fifth solo book and my ninth book because I'm in collaboration. So, and I do a lot of posts and stuff like that. So, I don't journal, but I write about what I'm experiencing, what I see coming up, and what's happening
Okay.
in the world. And this book, I can't wait for it to come out, is about dragons.
Yeah. Exciting.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's going
Yeah.
to be
Amazing.
fantastic. It is fantastic. It is already done. I'm doing the meditations that go with the dragons now. Yes.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
So, Beatrix, if someone wanted to get in touch with you, learn more about you, or work with you, how would they do that?
They can find me on LinkedIn and Facebook with my name, and just feel free to drop me a message. I've got other links as well on my profile, but I think the best thing to just to connect and drop me a message. Yeah, that's what I
Excellent.
want.
Excellent. So if you do that, do say that you saw her here so that she doesn't think you're just a stalker or, a bot. She wants to make sure that you're a real person. And everyone, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much, Beatrix, I love your heart, your soul, your mission. Um, I just adore you. This is so beautiful. And guys, if you love this like I did, give it a thumbs up. If you know someone who could benefit, please do share it out. And as always, if you want to know more, you need to subscribe and you'll know when the next episode is available. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Beatrix. Take care.
Thank you, Gail. Thank you for your work as well. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Empowering Process podcast. Be sure to visit Gail at gailcraft.com to learn more about how she serves thought leaders, entrepreneurs, and goal seekers. And remember, if you like this broadcast, be sure to share and subscribe so you don't miss an episode.